Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, and today I am going to review QoR Watercolors, and I did a little review of these back when I got my first 6-color introductory set. I had gotten the high chroma set, and if you remember that review and demo, you probably remember that I was very impressed by them. And so after I filmed that video, I actually ended up picking up the other two 6-color introductory sets because there was no doubles in between those 3 sets, and I really have enjoyed painting with them over the last couple of years. One thing I really liked about them was that they were very vibrant and the colors were intense, and they were also very slow wearing, so when I use these in my travel palette, I didn't have to refill colors often because the colors wore so slowly. So because I enjoyed those paints so much and I was getting to the end of those tiny little tubes that come in the introductory sets, I decided to splurge and buy myself the set of 24 intro set because it was going to give me doubles or give me replacements for some of my favorite colors, and it was also going to give me back some other colors that I didn't have yet. And then, as kind of serendipity, I was contacted by QoR, and they asked me if I would be willing to review their paints. And I said, well, I'm already a fan, and they offered me 6 colors. And I chose some colors that weren't in the sets. I chose Quin Red Light, I chose Quin Red, I chose Cadmium Yellow Light and Deep, I believe, Cobalt Violet, Cobalt, and Cobalt... did I get Cobalt Turquoise? I can't remember. So there's going to be a couple colors here that are not in any of the sets, and those are just ones that I requested as my 6 colors they gave me to pick from. But here you can see, like, this was the original 18 that I had. You can see how nice and clean and crisp and vibrant they are. And so for these, I made my lines so I could see how transparent they are. They all were very transparent, except the raw sienna did have a little bit of a haziness, which is common with raw sienna. And obviously, their titanium white is not as bright as other titanium whites. It definitely feels more like a Chinese white, even though it's a titanium. It's not very opaque. That came in my set, as well as a neutral tint and a Payne's Gray. Those are colors I typically don't use, but I might now. I might do some just value studies with them or something. But I often find that buying sets, as long as there aren't too many colors that you're not going to use, they are a better value. So I think this gives a good range of the colors. It's obviously not all of them, but after a while, when they get into mixed colors, mixed pigments, they just start to get a little samey after a while. But so here you can kind of see a good overview of the colors. I found Cobalt Violet not to be as nice as I thought it was going to be. I thought it'd be stronger, but once it dries down, it's really hard to constitute, kind of like Viridian and Cobalt Turquoise and Cobalt Blue sometimes. I think it's just a Cobalt characteristic. Like, I have a Cobalt Blue that glasses up on me all the time, so I think that's just a Cobalt characteristic. That was from a different brand, the glassy Cobalt. But I thought I'd just kind of give you a little bit of a demo of those paints. I don't really have anything planned, I have to be honest. I've been meaning to do this review for a while, and I just haven't gotten around to it. So I've just got some regular watercolor paper. One thing I really like is when you do get a set of the QoR paints, the 24 set comes in a tin this size, and I just put my colors in half pans, and I use magnets to attach them to the bottom, and their lids have these wonderful little divots for mixing. You can actually squirt out your paint in these divots, like little bits of it, and then you could work from there and mix on the bottom if you didn't have pans or you didn't want to deal with the plastic pans. But I like being able to move them, just the ones that I'm going to use over. But that's just me. You can do whatever you want to do. Okay, so I really don't know what I want to paint, so I just grabbed some colors that I really like from the QoR line. So I've got the green gold first, and I think I'm going to paint maybe a few fuchsia because I did have a request to paint some fuchsia. So I'm going to start with like just a little kind of back, like the part that attaches to the stem here. And then I think I'll do a couple other, I'll do 3. So let me do one over here. Now this paint, I have it mixed up with quite a bit of water because I want to show you the flow of this paint. I think it really has a beautiful flow. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of, I'm going to take a little bit more of that, a little bit of phthalo blue here, and just add that in. And then I'm I'm going to add I'm going to take some Quin Red because I've been anxious to use that color. Anxious is the wrong word. Anxious is a negative word. I've been excited to use that color, so I'm going to put kind of the top of the fuchsia there and pull out a few little petals. I'm just using a number 12 round. You can use whatever you have, whatever's handy. And something I like to do is add a little bit more color in there. Maybe actually, let me mix in a little bit of ultramarine blue to that. Let's see what that does with ultramarine blue. Let's add a little bit of that in there and see if that does anything interesting. I should pay more attention. I'm not really sure how many petals a fuchsia has. Now, I'm going to do some, oh yeah, I want to just kind of touch that. Well, now we have some spatter, and I think I need to clean my brush. But now I just want to kind of touch those two elements of the flower together and let them flow together a little bit. Now something I want to do is just kind of, for the really light petals, I just want to kind of paint them in with water, and you can see how some of that color just wants to whoosh in. I'm going to add some Cobalt Teal. Even though that's not the color that you normally see in fuchsia, I think it'd be really kind of fun to have that as our dangly petals. And I'm using this really diluted, and you can see how lovely the colors are. They're just so vibrant. And this is going to be definitely a very loose floral. If you want to learn more about loose florals, I do have a class on that as well. And then I want to get some of the little stamens kind of hanging down. And I'm going to go back with my pink and add little dots to the bottom and just let the pigment travel up. And I just think that's really kind of fun. I don't know if you're getting a lot of glare, so I'm just going to kind of tip it to make sure you can see. And I'm also going to grab a little bit of that violet with the ultramarine blue there, and even though it's really wet and I won't be able to define any petals, just kind of give it a little bit of a movement. I can go and define them later. Now if you get too much flow, because I did have that really wet, actually we're better off to put a wet brush in there to dry it, because if I stick a paper towel in there, I'm likely to make it go outside of the lines, or I am likely to take up way too much. And I also want to redefine that edge. I didn't have enough of a bump on that side. And I think I want to put some more stronger green in there, and maybe have a little bit of Cobalt Teal in that green. Now I'll mix this one up a little drier so it won't travel quite so much, and I can get a little bit of a shadow. Then we can wait and just see what that does. It won't hurt to see what it does. I can add a little listen to that too. So maybe I will take a little bit of that out, just so it doesn't flow too much on me. And if I know it's not moving as much as I want, then I can go in and just kind of help it a little bit. That was with a pretty much wiped off brush. I'm going to do the same thing over here, but with my fuchsia petals, I am actually going to curve them up quite a bit, quite dramatically. Your round brush is really your workhorse. You can do so much with a round brush. I am cleaning my brush after that petal because I did go over the green. I love to get really shapely petals. I think that's a lot of fun. And then again, I am going to do my little petal thing there and go in with my Cobalt Turquoise, because that's just such a fun color. I took that with me when we went on vacation to the Bahamas, and it was just such a nice, beautiful color to work with. I could try some of this. I don't think I've used the Cobalt. I should have probably pre-wet this color because I know it's a little bit of a stickler, and the Cobalt Turquoise doesn't want to flow. I think it's because it's more of a sedimentary colors. So as you're choosing your colors, I would recommend, if you really want to get that kind of core experience, like with the flow and stuff, your quinacridone colors are going to be great. The Cobalt Teal actually flows really well for a cobalt color. Actually, for anything, it does seem to flow pretty well. Of course, it's not right there where as I say it, but that's a really fun and vivid and beautiful color to play with. In our fantastical fuchsias. Oh, I like that. Fantastical fuchsias. Okay, and then again, I am going to do the just some lines down for the center and add in some of the magenta. I mean quinacridone red. So fun. And I feel like I want a little bit more of the red up here. Okay. And we'll do one more flower here. Grab my fuchsia. Could do one in the back there. Kind of tap on our white petals and then add our, oh, there we go. That's the core. That's a thing that just makes me go, ah. When I see the core paints, it's like, oh, they just flow and they're so fun. Now, if you do want more flow, there is a product. It's a synthetic oxgall, so it's really great if you're looking for a vegetarian oxgall product. I haven't used it, but because I find they flow so well, but if you did want extra flow, that is a great way to do it. So there you can see kind of some of the vibrancy of these paints. They are a lot of fun to play with, and you can actually glaze over them just fine. I think those colors give you a really good idea about what the paint line is about, and what I think I'm going to do now is actually dry this, and then I'll put just a little layer of glazing on just so you have that to see, but I do want to do a little bit of speckling. So when I'm going to speckle, a lot of times I will do a little bit of color. I will speckle on water and then I will dab on some color. It's kind of nice to get some greens in because obviously these come from, they hang down from a plant, so we'd want to get that kind of feeling of, you know, leaves and behind. And if this is too loose for you, you don't have to do this. Obviously, I'm just kind of showing you a demo of the paints. I always blot right away if I have it somewhere that I don't want it. Like if I speckle and it goes like goes on top of a color that I really didn't want to alter. But I love what happens when you get the multiple pigments kind of mingling in puddles together. You just get a really fun effect there. Then maybe do some yellows down below. We haven't even grabbed any yellows yet. One yellow I really love is this Naples yellow. Their Naples yellow just is so luminescent, which is really weird because I believe that it contains a black pigment in it, which it must just be a tiny little smidgen because it is so vibrant. It's such a lovely color. And then I like to go and mess up some of my speckles with just some blobs of water. And then I'm going to go in with the Cad Yellow. Ooh, gorgeous, gorgeous color. And I've used the QoR watercolors a lot in different tutorials, so just go to my channel and search QoR watercolors and you'll be able to find lots of tutorials using them. So let's let this dry, put on some details, and then, you know, see what we come up with. Okay, now that that's dry, I'm going to add some shadows just to kind of pop up some interesting spots, but I don't want to overdo it. I'm using an angle brush here. Isn't this cute? This is Jane Davenport angle brush. And I am going to just I'm going to mix up a little bit more of my purpley color, and that's going to be a nice shadow for the petals of the of my flower here. And so I'm actually going to go around them there, and I'm going to come over here, and I think I'm going to go kind of inside of that one and maybe do that over here as well, just so it gives you the look of maybe like a turned petal, and make that one in the back a little bit darker just to give it a little bit of dimension. And like that. Just to give them a little bit of, just to break them apart from the background a little bit. And then for the little petals down here, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to side load. I'm going to make sure that I only get color on the tip. And I'm going to do some Cobalt Teal and also some of that purple. And I'm just going to go in and just kind of throw in a little bit more color. I'm just going to go in and throw in just some little, kind of like just ruffly shapes. This is definitely something anybody can do. You don't have to be trained, you know, just play with it and have fun. And then what I think I'm going to do is, I'm actually just going to grab a skinny brush. A liner would work great. I'm not sure if I should have a liner in this bucket, but it has gone missing. So I'm going to grab this one. And I am just going to mix up, I'm going to take some of that ultramarine blue, and I'm going to try some of that Cobalt Violet. It's not a very strong color, but I kind of want to get it in the action, and also I know it's not, that one is not going to flow too much. And I thought I would do just a little bit of line work, maybe just throw in a few little petals here and there. We just have an interesting little demo. I mean, nothing too tricky, nothing to, you know, write home about, just something kind of fun to try out some new paints with. So break out your watercolors, whether they're these or they're something else. Have fun with them. Give them a try. Make marks, splash and paint around, and have fun. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope it helped you make some informed decisions about your watercolors. I am going to flip back to that swatch just so you can kind of see it and get an idea of the color range again of the QoR watercolors. They are beautiful, vibrant. Here is the swash here of color is one glaze. Something that's kind of interesting is this nickel azo yellow color. If you look at it watered down, it's a beautiful lemony yellow, but when you have it like mass tone, it's very ambery, which is kind of interesting, kind of like an cerulean almost. But it's just something different and something I wanted to point out because it is kind of a different effect there, something you might not expect. But there you can see the colors that I have out of the range of QoR watercolors, and I recommend them. If you can get them at a good deal, then I say go for it. They're a wonderful paint, and I thank them for sending me a few tubes of color. Just to let you know, I was sent 6 tubes. I purchased the rest personally, and as always, you're getting my honest opinion. I will link down below to these products. I will use Amazon affiliate links, so if you do make a purchase through those links, even if you don't buy these paints, if you surf around and get something else, which is fine, I will get a small commission on that. So just so you know, to be completely honest with you. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Until next time, happy crafting.